of the script and the story and what that process was like of really working together to create the story and the whole writing process for the movie overall.
Well, I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
What the whole process was like of working on the script together and where the story, the idea for the story came from and what that collaboration was like of working together on the script.
Okay, yeah. Well, Gareth came up with like the concept of it in a dream, actually. I believe it was, right, Gareth?
Yeah.
And he presented me the idea, and so like the process of the script was, I mean, we were actually living together at the time, so we would write like 10-15 pages or something and go through them, and it was kind of like a back and forth between him and I throughout the whole process of writing the script. So that's kind of how that got started.
And then I also wanted to ask you, Drew, about going on to direct the film and what that experience was like for you of going from working on the script into directing as well.
It was an amazing experience. It's the first feature that I've directed, and I think going into anything, you never know what the outcome is going to be. You have these ideas that you would like to achieve, but you never really know what's going to happen. And so I think just like that feeling of not knowing, like just always that question mark at the end of like every sentence was kind of what kept me just going and driven. But yeah, I mean, it was a really awesome and like humbling experience.
And I also wanted to ask you both about then going on to star in the film and what that experience was like, going from working on the script into acting in the film. And was it also always your intention to also be in the film as well?
It was always our intention to be in it for this particular story. The process of like making it was really interesting. Gareth and I did the whole entire like production design. We transformed the inside of our house into like an 1800 style farmhouse. So literally every piece of furniture, prop, anything that you see in the movie was either handmade or brought in by us. So that was, making the movie itself. It was really interesting and really fun.
And also, I wanted to ask about then going on to cast the rest of the film and what that process was like of finding the rest of the cast and really signing everyone else to come on board the film overall as well.
Casting was pretty easy for us. There's 4 characters in the whole entire movie, so Gareth and I, we knew that we were going to be in it. And then Rebecca Frazier, our other lead actress, and Rick Watson is the other character. I had worked with both of those people on previous projects. So they're people that I really trusted. I love working with both of them. And so it was kind of just, we knew from the beginning who we kind of wanted to cast. We were pretty much writing it for specific people.
And once the rest of the cast signed on, what was that experience like of getting to work with them and really build the relationships between the characters and just that rehearsal process like with the rest of the cast overall as well?
Oh, it was awesome. Everyone a part of it was just such a joy to work with, and like I said, I had worked with all of them in the past before, and so
excluded me.
Excluding you, excluding you.
But we lived these characters every day, so it was interesting for us to build upon them. We went through a process about a year developing the scripts, and the script was actually more detailed in dialogue before we shot it, but we both had a very similar taste in European filmmaking, so we wanted to take all of, I feel like, American filmmaking or USA kind of gives a lot of information, and we wanted to take that information away and kind of make more of an artistic piece for people to perceive their own ideas. So it was our first time acting together, and that was pretty awesome, actually, because we knew each other as writers and filmmakers and producers, but we didn't know each other as actors. So I mean, I found that awesome to sit across him and be a completely different character. So that was a unique experience for me. I've never had that before, knowing someone so long and then being able to sit in front of someone and just spew dialogue was just a very cathartic experience for me personally.
It was. No, I completely agree.
And speaking of producing, I also wanted to ask you both about that experience and also producing the film and how you found that balance between directing and acting in the film, also with the producing overall.
You want to go, Gareth?
I can. Yeah, sure. I mean, Drew came on to the story about 3 months after I had started it. I had a dream. It was more of a horror story. I had cultivated some ideas with some other people. And when I met Drew, we had both read this script or these ideas or this concept, and we had the same notion of where to go with it. We wanted something, we had the same love for European directors and the same love for Cannes festival movies, and we just had the same ideas. So when I saw that and I experienced his, where he perceived the story the same way as I perceived it, I was like, this is the right guy. We need to work together. You need to direct this. You need to write this. And we sat together, and for a year we just pushed out the story. And our investors came through for us. And like I said, there was no acting. We didn't do any rehearsals until the fateful day we actually got our contract signed with the investors and with our money. And then we choreographed every single thing together. We choreographed the sex scenes together. We choreographed the fight scenes together. It was really weird that we put all these different hats on, which I've never worked like that before. We had a substantial bits of money that we've never had before for a movie, which was kind of taken away from us towards the end because of different circumstances. So we really had to tighten our belts and get rid of a few people and put those hats on ourselves. But it worked out tremendously well for us both, right, Drew? I think.
No, yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do it any other different way than we did it now, you know?
Mm-hmm. And speaking of like,
I mean, the day before Henderson. Sorry, Karen.
I wasn't sure if you were finished yet. I was just wanted to ask about what about the stunts. What was that experience like as well, working with on the stunt work and creating that aspect of the film as well?
It was awesome. You know, we didn't have it in the budget to, hire like stunt coordinators or anything like that. So, Gareth and I, we just knew each other for a long time, leading up to this event, and we trusted each other. And so, for the sex scenes or fight scenes or, anything that was physical, we just worked it out between the two of us. We ran certain scenes, a couple times.
Kind of borrowed from other things too, where we watched movies and sex scenes from heyday and movies that we liked. We're like, we can take a little bit from here and take it a little bit from there, and why don't we do that? And it was kind of interesting because sex scenes aren't very sexy. They're very, they're more difficult and more choreographed than the fight scenes. So that was an interesting experience for us, I guess, personally. But we borrowed a little bit, and then a lot of things are just in the moment. There's a scene where I toss an egg on Drew's head and I hit him right where we needed to do after 2 scenes. So everything seemed to work out for us.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned the location earlier as well. So I wanted to follow up on that aspect as well and really figure out what that experience was like of figuring out how you wanted to shoot and like visually and like showcase that location overall and what that experience was like overall.
Well, we initially had 8 locations.
Do what?
I said we initially had 8 locations before we set up.
Yeah. We initially had quite a few locations, and we just due to budget restrictions, we had to like really minimize that into. We shot in 2-3 different places, But yeah, I mean, we shot all of our exteriors on a farm outside of LA, and then we shot all of our interiors inside of our house in North Hollywood. So, you know, I mean, we built the whole entire set ourselves.
To match the outside.
Yeah. And so, you know, building that and, you know, just developing that, we both of us, we knew exactly what we wanted to see for, you know, scene for scene for scene. You know, we knew exactly what kind of furniture, what kind of props that we needed, anything like that. So it was kind of like, I mean, like 6 months leading up to the shoot, we had our eyes out on everything. We would find furniture on the side of the road that people were giving away that we would, you know, go and pick up and pull in and, you know, bring into the house. So we pretty much turned the home that we were living in into like an 1800 style farmhouse for a few months. So that was
we really scoured Hoarders apartments and houses to look through their stuff and grab some things from the 1800s. And I mean, Google came in very handy. I would Google how to make a curtain from whatever material we're using. We made our own curtains. And the day before, I remember we lost our costume designer just because of, you know, budget constrictions towards the end. And we were fitting our main actress in, we're pinning her in a costume or her wardrobe that we've never done in our lives. So it was a good learning experience for us.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to ask about the film's release and what that experience was like of deciding how do you wanted to release the movie digitally, and what that experience was like of really securing that distribution as well overall.
Well, we initially, our main goal was initially to do the festival circuits. And then when everything kind of happened this year with COVID and, you know, everything that's going on in the world, we decided it was best to kind of just back away from festivals and pull it from that and go straight into distribution. So that was, you know, kind of our choice with that.
And Gravitas was always my first choice, even when we started to present them with this. So once they were in, there were no other choices for me personally. It's a dream of mine to work with Gravitas Ventures. So for them to distribute the movie is just a dream come true. And so they'll be releasing it on video on demand on the 29th of December, 2020, which is a great date for us personally. I mean, you know, unfortunately with the pandemic, everybody's inside their homes, being quarantined looks like again, but, you know, it gives everybody an opportunity to watch this movie and see for themselves.
Okay, I think that was mainly it, but thank you both again for taking the time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for taking your time. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks again.